On TV, sunset done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I won't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Work so hard to make it
do the first hit from maybe that side of the thing away from the coaches, yeah. From one bench to the other because it's so tight. It's gonna be a little tough to get from one bench to the other because it's so tight.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of excuse yourself. You know?
Yep. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Alex, you're coming here with Alex and me. They're just like.
You have 3 up now, Carl. Camera 3. Is that coming through the speaker in the trailer, or why is it? That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. We can still pick up rolling, so that's cool right there, guys. We should have math on 3 now.
Okay, Husky fans, let's welcome onto the field your 2017 UConn Huskies!
Thanks for doing that.
kicking.
Yeah.
Good crowd for college soccer here. But
They'll still be filling in a couple minutes in too. So.
Boy, last night at USF Women was packed.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, man! I was like, he knows the plan. Should be fine. If it's not, let me know. I'll talk to Yep, that's him. There's the sideline report comparing the contrast on the weights of the coaches.
That's a good point, Lincoln. Yeah.
The referee for left. Al Referee. Referee Bruno Bojo and Michael Wallace. The fourth official at the table, Edwin Lazendi. And now let's meet tonight's starting lineup. First, for the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. On this fielder, senior captain from Spring, Texas, number 15, Roland Rocha. In goal is sophomore, Ormont Beach, Florida, number 1, Marcel da Silva. Midfielder, a freshman from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, number 2, Joe Ewing. Midfielder, a freshman from Pottsville, Missouri, number 3, Chase Bromstead. Our defender, a sophomore from Penny, Iowa, number 6, Cole Toppin.
I hate people who pronounce the extra syllable of sophomore.
From Yogaland, Netherlands.
Storrs, Connecticut, Maroney Stadium, the site tonight for the American Athletic Conference men's soccer clash between a pair of unbeaten in league play, the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes And the home squad, UConn Huskies. Let's take a look at the standings after one weekend of play. UConn, Memphis, USF, and this visiting Tulsa squad all taking care of business, all with 3 points tied atop the table. One of our two teams will have a chance perhaps to sit atop the table at 2-0. Hi, everyone. Lincoln Rose, Roland Garens way. We'll have Bill Spalding with us along the pitch throughout the broadcast as well. But Roland, here are two teams. They took care of business last weekend. They can do themselves a great service in pursuit of ultimately hosting a conference tournament if they can improve to 2-0.
Absolutely. Both these teams coming off a win. And again, they're going to need to build off that natural momentum that creates. This should be an entertaining one.
Let's take a look at your keys to the match. First up for the visitors out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
We talked about building momentum. They got an overtime win over SMU, which was ranked number 19 at the time. They'll have to build off that momentum. They also need to be aggressive offensively this game. They were a bit too tentative in the final third, I thought, against SMU. I'd like to see them pull the trigger early and often in this one.
And across the way for the home squad, Huskies, of course, they had a non-conference match on Tuesday, a win against Providence, but before that, a win at Temple for their first victory in league play.
Well, this team is loaded with talent. I think they just need to pay attention to the details. With the talent that they have up front, if they play sharp, free-flowing football, they'll give Tulsa a major headache defensively. They also need to continue to play with confidence again after that 2-game win streak that they're coming off of.
Well, both of these teams pitched shutouts in their openers. So we take a look at our players to watch. First up for the visitors from Tulsa, you look at Raleigh Roche and what he's been able to do.
Well, his stats won't blow you out of the water with 3 goals and assists, although he did score 2 goals against Stanford that was ranked number 1 at the time. But this kid is a midfield maestro. He runs the show for Tulsa. He'll create a lot of headaches for UConn, and he'll be very dangerous today.
And for the Huskies, the man from Senegal, one of the captains for this club. You look at Abdoubaki Jam, 4 straight matches now with a goal.
Well, this kid is just so impressive. He's leading the team in scoring by miles with 6 goals so far this season. He's also been named All-Conference twice. This kid is so impressive again, just loaded with pace and has no problem finishing in front of goal.
Jam and the Huskies looking to defend their home pitch. Meanwhile, it was last weekend, Sunday, the Golden Hurricane with the golden goal, trying to ride that momentum into a road victory here tonight on the American Digital Network.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story. So far.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is home.
This is UConn.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
When I came into this classroom, we had 30 desks, 30 chairs, a teacher's desk. That was it.
Donors Choose is the greatest, simplest idea. Teachers put up materials they need. You, as a donor, choose a school.
And you can fund part of a project or the entire project. It is magic.
With Donors Choose, you know exactly where it goes, every dime.
They feel like somebody in this country cares about me and my potential, and that's a powerful thing.
Moments away from kickoff tonight between UConn and Tulsa. For the first time this evening, let's go ahead and check in down on the pitch with Bill Spalding.
All right, thank you very much, Lincoln. We had a chance before the game to talk with both head coaches today, Ray Reid for UConn, Tom McIntosh for Tulsa, about some of the keys. For UConn, their key is always controlling the tempo. They're a team that loves to play good possession soccer, really keep the ball away from their opponents, and that's part of the reason why they've surrendered only 5 goals this year. With that in mind, Tom McIntosh says for Tulsa, they really want to pressure UConn, don't want to allow them to just keep the ball away. They really want to push with their strikers and their midfielders to win possession, and they said when they have the ball, they have to really move it quickly. If you play slow against UConn, they'll drop 11 players behind the ball and make life really difficult. So let's watch the tempo today, because that should be a real key early today, guys.
Thank you very much, Bill. Roland, of course, both of these goalkeepers were fantastic this past weekend, including Scott Levine, who will be making his 61st consecutive start for UConn. That's number 2 all-time for men between the pipes for the Huskies. But he's your goalkeeper of the week. I think there's a pretty good argument that Tulsa's man in goal, De Silva, was brilliant as well last weekend against SMU.
I would say, although Vargas was the goal scorer in overtime, De Silva was their man of the match. He bailed them out of so much danger this last game. They'll look to him to really dictate that back line, as well as come up with some big saves again.
Again, 61st consecutive start for that man in the neon kit, as Levine last year played all 1,754 minutes between the posts. If you are the number 2 keeper on this program for UConn, you're sitting back and patiently waiting for your opportunity. They have had some good ones, but whenever it's time for the next man to step up, they have been able to reload.
Well, squad depth is so important to every team across such a long season. You know, you have injuries or even just a dip in form. So the mark of a great team is having strength and depth.
Goes round with his back line that he will be communicating with throughout the evening. Again, the Huskies, 4 wins, a couple of losses, a couple of draws on the year. Most importantly, they are 1-0 in league play. They are also perfect here at home so far, 4-0-2. You see the head coach for the Huskies in Ray Reid, just starting his 3rd decade at the helm as the manager.
Well, this guy has had so much success at UConn. He has a very tight tradition with him. And as you see some of his stats, some of his milestones here, NCAA's second wingest active coach. That's no small feat. He's done a great job here with these guys.
And again, you see that 2-0 blanking of Temple this past weekend. They did play a non-conference match on Tuesday against Providence. Another shutout, 1-0. They have not allowed a goal since North Florida back midway this past month when it was a 2-2 draw. So we are underway. Again, UConn wearing the home white kits, Tulsa wearing all black this evening on the road.
UConn putting the pressure so far early on in this match. You see they're playing kind of a high line, not giving that Tulsa defense any room to breathe.
Tulsa in their match did not see a goal until overtime. It was a 0-0 matchup until that final moment when a brilliant hookup for Tulsa. Ultimately, the game winner coming from Gustavo Vargas, who has scored their last 2 goals. While, of course, Jam has had goals in the last 4 matches for UConn. The second time that the man from Senegal has had 4 straight matches with successful scoring strikes in his career. And this one, they were looking for Jam. He'll be easy to pick out with those pink boots. Both for you at home, but also for this back line of Tulsa.
Absolutely. He's got tons of pace, but he has tons of technical ability as well. He's not afraid to stick the ball in the back of the net. Not afraid to take a couple of touches in front of goal. He's fearless in that attacking line.
Ball pushed ahead initially by Rocha. We featured him at the top of the broadcast. Tulsa applying pressure on this back line, but the Huskies will have Burgess send it the other way. The 3rd-year sophomore out of Deer Park, New York, as the toss will come in from Garris. Andrew Garris making his 8th start, 9 appearances on that back line for the 5th-year senior out of Portland, Connecticut. Josh Burnett, the freshman out of Glen Ridge, plugging in as an everyday starter. So the Huskies now trying to build up an opportunity. Again, Tulsa has Marcel De Silva back in frame, the 3rd-year sophomore. Tulsa will send it back across midfield. Again, Lincoln Rose, Roland Guerin's way with you here on the American Digital Network. We'll check in throughout the evening with Bill Spalding down on the pitch, including around halftime. Have a chance for the first time tonight to hear from both coaches and get their thoughts, including here on the opening 45 minutes of play. Just 3 minutes into this conference matchup. Part of our great coverage here on the American Digital Network throughout the fall of both soccer, men and women, and of course some volleyball sprinkled in as well.
Both teams so far just trying to find their feet, trying to keep as much possession as they can. Neither team doing so, but it usually takes around 10 minutes for one team or the other to sort of settle in and start to build some cohesive attacks.
The Canadian Munir Saleh was called for the foul there. Back over to Tulsa. Again, Huskies in white, Golden Hurricane in black on this evening at Marone Stadium. Maroney Stadium, always great crowds on hand. A ball chipped in towards frame. And let's see.
It's that man John being dangerous again. This is a great run down the right-hand side for UConn. And it's actually a beautiful ball in here. And John trying to get on the end of it, but it was a brilliant defensive play by Gustavo Vargas. He concedes the corner.
Yeah, it'll set up the corner kick, that ball into the side netting. Dylan Greenberg, one of your preseason all-conference players. The defender will handle this with his left boot. They're looking for the back post. Tulsa wanted a handball. Ball chipped in, and it looks like UConn. John will win another corner kick here. John this year, 6 goals, 4 of them game winners already. Go with an assist as well, and they'll have a short corner from the boot from Burnett. Greenberg with Burnett here on the near side wing.
It's a great move from Greenberg.
Back post, and a great job by De Silva making sure there was never an opportunity to capitalize.
Greenberg coming up from that left back position, not afraid to run at defenders. He's a good defender in his own right, but he's also a very good attacker from that left back position.
Again, Golden Hurricane looking to build after surviving some set pieces a moment ago. Huskies back on their heels. Simply a goal kick coming up.
Goal kick.
Scott Levine will handle this kick. A 2-time goalkeeper of the week already this year in conference play. Josh Ford, 85 straight starts for UConn in goal, is the only man ahead of Levine now on the career starts for consecutive starts. Nice job recovering on the back line for the Huskies there, slowing down the attack for Tulsa.
Both teams really trying to push the pace, putting a ton of pressure on their opposing defenses.
Huskies will have a throw coming up here. Get a look there at Tom McIntosh in his 23rd year at the helm. Has a diploma from TU back in his days. In that big win over #1 Stanford. Greenberg will toss it in. Tulsa with good numbers around the ball. Back over to the Golden Hurricane.
Gustavo Vargas talking to his teammates, telling them to be a little bit more compact defensively. UConn side have a ton of pace in their side. Cause a lot of problems for this Tulsa defense.
You saw Vargas there. He has had, again, the only goal in the loss to Creighton and the only goal last week that came in overtime. That's all they needed in that 1-0 victory over #19 SMU at the time. Well, neither keeper has really been tested thus far. Tulsa's back line had a close call when Vargas was able to intervene a couple minutes ago.
Loving the work rate so far from both these clubs. Their movement off the ball has been very good. They've been very active. UConn playing at home really want to get the W, and Tulsa trying to provide that upset.
Again, a great soccer evening here on this Friday night. Let's check back in with Bill down on the sideline.
All right, thank you very much, Lincoln. I've been spending a lot of time early watching Scott Levine, the UConn redshirt senior goalie who's made 61 straight starts. And, you know, good keepers so often do more than just stop the ball. He's a real general out there. His lips never stop moving. He is constantly barking out orders to his back line, even as simple as just pushing more up the field to try and catch Tulsa in an offside position. He's a true leader for this team and a big reason why they've only given up 5 goals all season.
Opportunity here for that back line to come through, led by Levine, as Tulsa tries to sneak one in. Bill makes a good point there. Again, it's not just about the saves. In fact, if you can go all night without a shot on frame, chances are that goalkeeper's been active, keeping that back line in form.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard enough just to provide the saves and deal with balls in the air, but they also have to be sort of the quarterback of that defense. You know, they see the whole field from that back position, so they really have to sort of dictate where defenders go, left, right, calling backside runs, back post runs, things like that. A lot to think about from that goalkeeper position.
And of course, UConn has the goal patrol back there behind frame to help both encourage their own keeper and maybe with a few words of the less optimism for the opposition coming to town.
They'll do the best to get into the head of De Silva, who again had a great week last week.
We need to explain this.
Being with his first touch in a while.
So what's the difference between our guy playing it there or their goalkeeper playing the ball?
Wrapping up with our 10th minute between UConn and Tulsa, both 1-0 among 4 teams in the American, picking up wins last weekend to start 1-0. Again, Tulsa is your 3-time defending conference tournament champion. That means they've been capturing that automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. All 3 of those victories came in shootouts. The expense of USF and UConn over the years. UConn hosted that conference tournament back in 2014. Would like to do the same again here, as the #1 seed will have that home field advantage in conference tournament play. Still over a month removed from that, just getting started here with league play. For 2017, it should be quite the battle. Even that SMU team that picked up a loss last weekend, looks like they'll be in line for a good run.
Well, they're an obviously talented side as well. One of the better teams that come out of Texas. They're always in the mix there for both men's and women's for a national championship.
Got a whistle a moment ago that will send this ball back to Tulsa. UConn will retreat some of their numbers, as Zach Stavro gets us restarted, the senior out of Dallas. Went to Jesuit, same high school that produced Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth, he'd be a good guy to use on a set piece if he could bring his wedge with him. Battle hip to hip at mid-pitch for UConn. That was Apostle trying to intervene, getting his 3rd start on the back line, the freshman out of British Columbia. Obviously, a couple of Canadians able to make their way across the border to attend UConn and be a part of this roster.
Keep pulling away a little bit when they run.
UConn, you're looking at Soleil. He was tangled up with Joe Ruiz.
A clear foul. He holds him back, sort of leaning into him just with his hands up. But it's a dangerous free kick opportunity here for Tulsa. Let's see if they can capitalize.
So, first true set piece in the offensive half for the Golden Hurricane.
Kai, stay wide. Kai!
Just inside 40.
Give it to him, Cole. Kai's 1v1. All right.
Cole Poppin will do the honors as he assesses the wall formed at the top of the 18. Poppin chips one low, looking for the header. First touch from UConn, still a dangerous ball. Huskies have been unable to clear so far. And finally, it appears they have survived. Apostle will guide it up towards mid-pitch. Nice space out there on the wing. A couple of opportunities. A ball to run on. Just not enough pace on the pass.
That was great defensive play in transition from Tulsa. They had a dangerous opportunity on their free kick, but they did well to get 8 or 9 players back. They made a good defensive play.
On Sanchez going to work with Ruiz. That time the pass looking for Sanchez off the mark. And a cathartic feeling for Levine as he just puts all of his right leg behind that ball. Scoreless here in the 14th minute of the opening half between Tulsa and UConn. Tulsa in black, UConn in white. In Storrs, Connecticut tonight. In front of the home crowd at Maroney Stadium for the Huskies.
Rollies on. Good, Joe. Hey, stop.
Battle on the near touchline, but will stay with UConn's defense. Again, Greenberg, one of your 3 preseason all-conference selections on the Huskies roster this year. 4th-year junior out of New York.
He's very dependable on that back line, but as we saw a little bit earlier, he's not afraid to run at defenders and attack. UConn wanting to push those fullbacks forward and really supply Tiam with some service.
Huskies on a 5-match unbeaten streak coming into today.
Good tie. Stay with it.
Last loss was to number 9 Notre Dame. They would bounce back and play to a draw with Georgetown, ranked 18th at the time. UConn has only left Storrs once this year, and that was for that conference matchup against Temple this last weekend. A home-heavy schedule thus far.
It was unfortunate there for Cham. Greenberg again with another overlapping run down this left-hand side. We're going to see it here again.
Again, John with those pink boots.
Right, running at defenders. Try to lay off a pass for Greenberg. Just a little bit too much on it. But I'm liking the work rate of both these sides.
15 complete. The half hour still to go here in this opening half. And at times this match has felt like it could have plenty of fireworks. In fact, an opportunity here. Right down the middle was Ngog. Young man from France in his freshman campaign, but Tulsa was able to shore things up near the top of the 18.
Against Gustavo Vargas making a good defensive play. Does well to step up from that center back position and make a decent tackle.
Ngog continued to apply pressure on that ball.
Yep.
Tulsa finally able to get it across midfield up to Greenberg. Or pardon me, up to Poppin.
Good play from the back there.
Tulsa with a lot of numbers tight. Within 25. The ball with Bromstead. Been a quieter start from Bromstead than what we saw from the young man from Parkville, Missouri against SMU last weekend, the freshman.
Well, he's a young kid, but he was influential last game in the midfield. Created a few opportunities on goal.
Soccer scarves a little more practical in Storrs, Connecticut than in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
It's going to be autumn and winter. Might see some snowy games up there in UConn.
You and I will see some diehard fans in areas with temperatures in the high 90s, and still the scarves are being worn out of support.
Well, you love to see that kind of dedication, don't you?
Huskies will swing this one back around. Levine looks on in his neon kit. Never with a touch. Over the top to Silva. That ball spills loose. Frame vulnerable. And just doing whatever they could to put one towards the post. But no damage done from Jom. It's off the mark.
Well, that's so unfortunate for Jom there, but some uncharacteristic mistakes from De Silva. Does well to come off his line and try to command his box, but the ball just skids off the turf unexpectedly for him. And Jom just needed a little bit more patience, maybe lay the ball off to his teammate at the top of the box. Big chance there.
De Silva and Tulsa able to do just enough to influence the angle for Jom as he would send it wide off balance. Now Levine will try to help settle things down and build from the back. Unable to get it past Vargas.
That was close to an amazing ball, but again, Vargas just staying big at that center back position.
Again, Vargas on the back line, but has had the offensive touch, cleaned up a ball on the back post against Creighton to give a short-lived lead to Tulsa a couple weeks ago. And this last weekend, that game winner off a corner kick, the header. Vasquez setting him up on the corner against SMU.
Vasquez is another dangerous player there for Tulsa, who we'll probably see at some point this game.
Probably fewer water breaks that we will see here tonight in Storrs than we saw in Tulsa back on Sunday. You see the long sleeves on some. Oh, some trouble at the top of the 18. Levine was looking to intervene, but no need.
Again, just more dependable goalkeeping from Levine.
As Tulsa now will swing it along its back line. Chip over the top, nobody there. Levine has it. Now take a look at those bleachers right now. I suspect in the second half there will be a few more students over there, as that will reflect when De Silva for Tulsa is in that frame.
When you're a player, you love to see the support from your student body. Any little bit of support helps behind that goal.
UConn with the toss from across the way. As Huskies will swing it around here on the wing. They'll chip inside, head it away, and let's check in with Bill Spalding.
All right, guys, I heard you talking about Gustavo Vargas earlier for Tulsa, and he has the toughest defensive assignment today. The coaches have been on him from the start because his job is to be physical with Abdou Baki Jam, and he's trying to every time the ball comes in Jam's direction. He's really throwing a lot of his weight and his muscle into them. On top of that, they're trying to double team whenever they have the opportunity to put an extra body on Jam, and can you blame him?
Yeah, again, 4 straight matches for Jam with a goal. He has found ways to find that back of the net. I'm surprised UConn doesn't have Jam wear the same color boots as some of his teammates, so it's a little bit harder to pick him out at times.
It's going to be a fun competition to watch between Vargas, who's such a dependable center back, and Jam, who is such a high-powered forward.
Every time Jam approaches that ball, he thinks that is his time to give UConn the edge.
Definitely. He has a beautiful first touch, very technically gifted as well. Has a high soccer IQ.
Well, both teams have had their moments, including some corner kicks for UConn early on. But a couple of zeros on the scoreboard here. We are 21 minutes into this opening half.
So far, the pace of this game has been pleasing to the eye. Both teams coming out to attack. Neither of them really sitting into their shell and playing extremely defensively. Both teams trying to get the 3 points today.
For UConn, that's Ngog battling, and he will win this for the Huskies. A tap towards Coley. Back to Levine.
It's a good job just to keep possession.
Again, Levine, the fifth-year senior out of Stamford, Connecticut, redshirted his first year behind Josh Ford, who is in the midst of that 85-match start streak between the posts. And a flag up as Jam offside.
He's the only one up there. He's got to do a better job at staying on side.
Jam wears the captain's armband, as does Ramsey, the defender from Seattle for the Huskies. Garris at midfield for UConn. Of course, great heel touch from Jam. UConn with even numbers. But the Golden Hurricane flexing that back line that shut down a top 25 foe last weekend.
You see the skill there from Jam. Very inventive in the final third.
So defense has come through consistently for Tulsa, even in tough situations. Can they create a spark offensively? Tulsa working through midfield. Chip up ahead. And again, the first touch by UConn with that ball inside of about 25 yards.
This is Rolly Rocha on the ball. I'd like to see him be on the ball a little bit more. He does a great job just distributing the ball, sitting in front of those two center backs.
Rocha from the Houston area, went to Klein Oak High School from Spring, Texas. Now a senior in his final go-round with Tulsa.
It's his job to really dictate the pace of this Tulsa team. I think he needs to be on the ball a bit more.
Rocha was the man they trusted on 2 penalty kicks against Stanford. And Tulsa knocked off then unbeaten Cardinal.
It just shows what a leader he is on this team. His teammates trust him. They depend on him. Just such a big player for this Tulsa side.
All the way back to De Silva, who gets to address this ball under his own terms. Again, De Silva had a great kick save last week against SMU, really kept the back line organized, and what was a flurry of attacks on both ends of that pitch.
He really did come up big on multiple occasions, putting his body on the line.
As brilliant as he was, the nod went to Levine for UConn, goalkeeper of the week, named by the American earlier this week. John back in the midfield.
UConn with a nice spell of possession here. I think they've looked the most confident going forward so far.
Another chip, and again, back line for Tulsa not allowing any access to that 18. Oh, the gauntlet throw down. Huskies were looking to get it through over to Jom on the wing.
It's a beautiful bit of skill to get out of trouble there, but just a false touch. Tulsa get the tackle in.
So struggles so far. Both offenses to get any quality looks. Really just takes one mistake. Put a difference maker up there on the board.
You're absolutely right about that, but neither of these teams make many mistakes.
Oh, for Tulsa, Poppin is able to earn the corner. Great way to start the weekend. And they have had some good clubs to root on over the years here in Stores. Jacob Ramsey will handle this one. Seattle native looking for his first assist off that left boot. From 8 yards out, and a modest hop to Levine. No sweat.
That was actually a beautiful delivery back post. It was a great run. Couldn't get a full head on it, it didn't seem. We're going to see it here. Just a great delivery. Tulsa head maybe gets on the hand of it, maybe comes off his shoulder. Either way, not full contact, and Levine gathers easily.
Have to imagine there was a moment of concern for UConn when they did not get the first touch on that ball. It was sent on frame, but Levine able to handle it off the hop. Huskies will bring in Nico Petridis, the sophomore from Norwalk, Connecticut. Had the game-winning assist on Tuesday as he found Jom for that game winner against Providence. I'll have 2 assists this year for Petridis.
UConn just trying to get some more offensive momentum with that sub.
Silva, spectator in that all-red kit for now. Actually coordinated with our officials tonight, perhaps serving as a 5th official. And UConn gets all those white kits back.
It's good defensive play to cut off those angles. Nicholas Apostol was making a nice run down the right-hand side, but some good midfield play prevented him from receiving that pass.
Play continues. UConn trying to tilt the pitch. A nice lead pass, but it'll slip away.
Well, it was a very good first touch. Takes the ball out of play for a Tulsa throw.
They were looking for Petritas that time. Instead, surrendered back over to the visitors out of Oklahoma. Poppin sends it in. Nobody home, as only Ramsey in the area. So in the midst of our 30th minute between Tulsa and UConn here in Storrs, Connecticut tonight. Lincoln Rose, Roland Garensway with you. Bill Spalding down on the pitch, our 3rd member of the broadcast crew. Glad to have you with us on this Friday evening here on the American Digital Network. Women's soccer last night, 4 goals in that one. 3-1 decision.
It was a very exciting game with USF playing Memphis. USF playing at home, a fortress for them. They get the 3-1 win.
So conference play this last weekend getting started for both the men and women. Always a thrilling finish. Talk about these Tulsa men. The last 3 conference tournament titles and automatic bids have gone their way. And how about this one? That will not go the way of Tulsa, as perhaps the best look of the night through the run of play belonged to Poppin, but this ball well off the mark.
Well, Poppin, seems like the ball just lies right at his feet. He takes his space, and it's a good decision to take a shot. Unfortunately, gets too far into the ball, and it goes out for a goal kick.
Levine sends this one across midfield with ease. Play on. Tulsa will work from the wing. Couple of opportunities at the top of the 18. Still some space to work with. A dangerous ball sent through. Denied initially. Levine comes through with the first big stop of the night.
Well, that was an unbelievable opportunity for Kyle Doubt there for Tulsa. But Levine, as you said, coming up with a big stop as Tiam is on the attack for UConn.
And all of a sudden, quickly trying to turn the table. De Silva comes through with the sliding stop. But moments ago, everything had broken down in the box defensively for UConn, with the exception of your goalkeeper of the week in the American. As one-on-one, Levine able to keep this a scoreless affair.
Levine just coming up with a monster save for this UConn side. And you see UConn's pace and transition. They did a great job getting the ball out to Jom and having another offensive opportunity. But De Silva, again, trying to match the form of his counterpart, coming up with a nice save.
Looking to connect with Ngog. For UConn, you see Austin De Silva making his 9th appearance on the year, freshman out of Brookfield, Connecticut. Moments ago, the reason why it's still 0-0.
Kyle Doubt just taking a touch slightly too far. He'll want to have that one back for sure.
Doubt, the senior midfielder out of the Netherlands. So immediately put his hands to his head. Best chance of the night. Tulsa's had a couple in the past few minutes now.
Absolutely, this game's been end-to-end so far. Very entertaining stuff from both sides.
De Silva still without a lead to defend. Initially, it looked like trying to surrender a throw. Huskies struggle on the clearance.
It's Tulsa again, just pouring on the pressure so far in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
And dribbling that ball within 20 yards, but never getting any closer.
Rocha doing a great job to keep it into that final third. And that's definitely a foul. Look to me, referee says no when we play on. UConn trying to break in transition.
And how about that? Winning the ball right back is Ruiz.
Ruiz, hard work there. Great slide tackle.
All of a sudden, these possessions so valuable. Almost has the feeling as if there's only 11.5 minutes left in the match, not just here in the first half.
We've kept a very nice pace so far, but again, as you said, the intensity has risen in the past few minutes.
It's one thing to up the tempo, but you have to be able to avoid the mental mistakes if you do so. Let's see if both sides can stay in form. Able to slip one through. Flag should go up.
That sometimes is a problem. You try to create things, but you also need to stay positionally disciplined.
They kept the flag down, but simply De Silva controlling that ball a moment ago. UConn trying to apply some pressure. Vargas. Vargas would assume we don't talk about him until the 90 minutes are over.
Well, I'm sure he'd prefer the ball be in the attacking third for Tulsa the entire game. But maybe not. You know, he's a physical guy. He'll want to get on the action for sure.
Back over to the Huskies with about 10 minutes to go here in this first half. Alex Cow comes on for the 5th time this year. Another one of these Huskies out of France, the senior from Paris.
You see a lot of talent coming in from overseas. That's a testament to these programs. They can attract that kind of talent.
Well, apparently they already hit their quota because the other Frenchman, Ngog, is the man who came off. As Rocha right now making some adjustments.
He was piled in his back, into the back of him, and obviously draws the foul.
Well, it was UConn early, probably for the first 20 minutes, that had some more of the quality opportunities in terms of the buildup. But as of late, including right here, the ball sneaking into that 18 of the Huskies. Tulsa's built some confidence here on the road, trying to give UConn its first loss at home this year.
There's been a nice ebb and flow to the game. Both teams having momentum at different points in this first half. It's been an entertaining thing to watch.
And I misspoke. That matchup against Notre Dame was at home. So this will be a set piece, but from sizable distance, back closer to midfield.
I'd like to see them play this short. There we go. Try to build some momentum in possession.
Well, Huskies have only allowed 1 goal in the first half all season. They've outscored the opposition 5-1 this year through those first 8 matches in the first half. Tulsa, conversely, has played dead even with their opponents this year. 5 goals apiece in the first half. Ramsey will swing it over to Greenberg. Greenberg over the top. And De Silva will address this with his boot.
UConn side just needs to be a little bit more patient in possession. Seems like they're going route one in every opportunity. Just sort of be patient, let the ball do the work. We're going to see it again. They're going to turn over possession after a long ball. I'd like to see them play the ball to feet.
Yeah, Coley was trying to connect out there on the wing, but well marked by Tulsa. Bri Easterling, sophomore out of Germany. First made his way over to the States to play over at Biloxi in Mississippi. Now in his 7th match for Tulsa.
Again, more Route 1 soccer. Just another long ball over the top. Both these sides have pace about them, but they also have technical skill. They need to use that skill to sort of, again, just keep possession, be patient, and break the opposing team down.
Well, if you took a peek at who our starting goalkeepers were going to be tonight, I think it would have been no surprise that there'd be a couple of zeros at this point on the board. But it's been less about their play in the back line, but the battle in the midfield has been a grind.
I'd say so. You know, both teams, working out really hard to sort of break up play in that midfield. Both teams are very physical. Tulsa being maybe a little bit more physical than UConn so far. But I think it's been a good match. It's been very evenly matched as well.
You can understand if Levine wanted to circumvent the midfield there, sending a long one over the top as he was initially targeting his teammate Cole Venner. This will stay in play. Golden Hurricane with the ball at midfield. Inside the final 6 minutes of this opening half, both teams 1-0 in league play with the full 3 points to show for their openers this past weekend. Tulsa 3-3-1 overall on the year. UConn 4-2-2. Last year finishing 3rd in this league. Preseason pick to finish 1st this year for the, I believe, 4th time in the last 5 years.
That's not surprising if you've ever seen this team play. They're little with talent.
As De Silva takes his time before pressure came his way. And back over to the Huskies. We want a quick little restart here with Garris taking the throw. Tulsa's been chipping away here in the latter portion of this first half, trying to finally crack through that back line. They did finally earn a one-on-one look with the opposing keeper, but Scott Levine was up to the task several minutes back to keep us scoreless.
It really was a golden opportunity for Kyle Doubt. He's very disappointed, but he has another half to sort of make a difference and make up for that mistake.
Amir Saleh making a new best friend. Over the top. No room for mistake. As Huskies will be able to clear it back up to midfield. Garris will give it a heave. Tulsa with the first touch. Just taken right away through the midfield. Sent out to the wing and a tad heavy. Let's see, they say
that's a poor ball with an opportunity to mount an attack in transition.
Yeah, giving it right back to Tulsa for that throw. Two and a half to go. Can one of these two sides find some separation on that scoreboard before they go to the locker room? a Friday evening of men's soccer here in the American. Storrs, Connecticut, Maroney Stadium, the site tonight.
It's a bit of skill there for Rocha to keep possession.
Poppin.
We're seeing him with the ball at his feet.
They'll swing one around, looking to connect on that back post. And the first man there is Levine squeezing it in.
Again, the more that Rocha is on the ball, I think the more creative Tulsa can be. I think they really believe in him and his ability to create things. I'm seeing they're running off the ball every time he has the ball at his feet. We're seeing it here. It's not a bad ball in, but with a keeper like Levine who commands his box so well, that was never going to come off for Tulsa.
Levine has only allowed 5 goals this year through almost 8.5 matches. It was a .58 goals against average coming into today. That average is dipping steadily here with a shutout first half. And the opposition again to Silva, no slouch. Approaching the final minute of the opening half.
One minute remaining to play in the first half.
If everything holds, we'll have a chance to check in with Bill Spalding and UConn head coach Ray Reed. A couple of veteran coaches, each in the midst of their 3rd decade at their helm of their respective programs. Ray Reed, the 2nd winningest active head coach in NCAA men's soccer, including some national championships on that resume. Well, final 10 seconds counting down. You can understand how this rivalry has been so tight. They split last year. UConn beat Tulsa in the regular season. Tulsa knocked off the Huskies in the conference tournament, ending their season. And 45 minutes in the books. We are scoreless 1/2 of the way through.
Well, this game has been so evenly matched. Both clubs just so skilled all over the pitch. We'll see what the second half has in store for us.
So Huskies and Golden Hurricane, both 1-0 in league play. Let's check in with the top Husky, Ray Reed. He's with our Bill Spalding.
All right, Coach, so first 45 minutes, some chances on offense early. What did you think of the overall first half?
Yeah, I think it was back and forth. Tulsa had a little bit. We had a little bit. Both teams are trying to get a hold of the midfield.
Tulsa seemed to break up your possession a bit in the last 15, 20 minutes. How do you go back to playing that?
We just got to be a little better on the ball. Some of our better guys got to be able to hold the ball a bit and keep it so it doesn't become so much like ping pong.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Bill. You heard there from Ray Reed. We'll hear from Tulsa head coach Tom McIntosh coming out of the locker room before the start of the second half. Cast of characters, we knew the stars coming in tonight, including John, looking for a goal for a 5th straight match. Hasn't come yet. We're scoreless in Storrs, Connecticut, here on the American Digital Network. It is halftime.
$7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Thanks for tuning in to our Wednesday edition of The Rise, featuring all things Olympic sports. I'm Haley Outen. We have a whole lot to get to as fall sports are officially in conference play, and we have some good matchups coming your way on the American Digital Network this week. First, in women's soccer, 3 teams remain unbeaten after the first week of conference play. UCF, Cincinnati, and Memphis each posted a 1-0-1 record over the week and lead the American with 4 points apiece. The 14th ranked Knights and Bearcats squared off on the American Digital Network last Thursday to kick off conference opening coverage. It was a low-scoring defensive affair with neither team finding the back of the net, but both teams would prove to be victorious in their second game of the weekend. Cincinnati's defensive prowess continued on Sunday as they shut out USF 1-0, earning Kiki Lowell American Defensive Player of the Week honors. UCF also took home some weekly hardware as Kayla Adamek was named the Offensive Player of the Week and Dina Orshman the league's Rookie of the Week after a 4-0 win over ECU on Sunday. We have more women's soccer action coming up this week on the ADN as Memphis and USF square off Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern in Tampa. You'll be able to catch that one live and for free on YouTube. The Tigers head into this match with the goalkeeper of the week on their side, Rachel Ashworth-Shepherd, who posted a combined 16 saves over the weekend, including a career-high 14 against SMU. Over on the men's side, conference play also opened up on the ADN with a thriller last Sunday as Tulsa was victorious over number 19 SMU 1-0 in overtime. It was a fairly even match until Gustavo Vargas found the back of the net in the 94th minute with the golden goal for the Golden Hurricanes. While in other conference opening action, it was the war on I-4 taking place in Florida. USF topped UCF 3-2 in double overtime Saturday night in Tampa. Bulls coach Bob Boothorn got his first American win behind Alex Z's golden goal in the 106th minute. USF remains undefeated at home after going 2-0 last week. The Bulls also picked up a 5-1 non-conference win over North Florida. Rookie Adrian Billhart scored a combined 7 points last week, including 6 in the win over the Ospreys, while teammate Tomas Skublak was not far behind in the scoring column with 5 points. American Offensive Player of the Week honors went to UConn forward Abdu Baki Jam, who scored the game-winning goal in Saturday's win at Temple. The Huskies return home Friday and will host Tulsa in a key conference matchup. We'll also bring you that game live on the American Digital Network at 7 p.m. Eastern. In volleyball, the theme this week was 2-0 for Cincinnati, SMU, and Wichita State as they opened league play. Lauren Mills helped the Mustangs to their undefeated weekend, earning her the league's Offensive Player of the Week honors. SMU dropped just one set over the week and posted 3-1 and 3-0 wins over Tulane and Houston, respectively. The senior shares the conference's lead of 9 double-doubles with UCF's Kia Bright. Georgia Savita took home her second consecutive Defensive Player of the Week accolade and averaged a conference-best 6.29 digs per set in Wichita State's 2 road wins. She had 25 digs in the Shockers' 3-1 win over Temple in a match that aired live on the ADN. Savita and the Shockers come in at number 25 in this week's AVCA national rankings. Cincinnati was led by Erica Kostelak, who earned a spot on the American Honor Roll after leading the Bearcats to sweeps over USF and UCF. We would also like to send a big congrats to ECU head coach Julie Torbett, who captured her 400th career win last week. The university showing coach some much-deserved Twitter love. The Pirates swept a doubleheader versus North Carolina Central and North Carolina A&T, finishing the week 3-1 after splitting their conference opening matches. Over in cross country, Charlotte Tara Murphy continues to anchor the SMU women. She led a trio of Mustangs in the top 20 at the Virginia Panorama Invitational last Sunday and posted a top 5 individual finish at the same event. The sophomore earned the Americans Cross Country Female Athlete of the Week honor for her efforts. While the Mustangs won't be competing this weekend, 9 teams from across the conference will be heading to some notable races. Temple, Tulane, and Wichita State will head to South Bend, Indiana to face a competitive field. Another big one to keep an eye on this weekend is the Paul Short Run, hosted by Lehigh, where UConn and ECU will be competing. That about wraps it up for this week's Olympic Sports Update. Make sure to check back with us tomorrow for an all-new episode of the American Huddle with Andy Gresh as we get ready for another great weekend of football. We'll see you then.
I think sometimes as coaches, we always talk about preferring not to end games, or have games decided by penalty kicks.
However, penalty kicks have been a significant part of the Tulsa men's soccer story each season. Since joining the conference, the Golden Hurricane have won 3 straight American championships, all decided by PKs.
For me, it's just like another aspect of the game, whether it's attacking, set pieces or defending set pieces. For me, it's another part of the game that you need to prepare your team, to take them and to defend them as well, the goalkeepers. And so we obviously try and give our goalkeepers information as well, and then try and rely on the players' judgment,
And it hasn't just been championships that have been decided from 12 yards out. The Golden Hurricane got a taste of the pressure to kick off their season.
Penalty kicks have helped us decide games. I mean, the opening game, we actually made one and missed one. We created 2 penalties, and in the opener, like I said, we made one, missed one, but at least we ended up getting a draw out of the first game. And then obviously at Stanford, we drew 2 more penalties, and Rolly Rocha, hit both of them.
I mean, it's very important. It's like one of the hardest things to do, really, is to step up to a PK spot 12 yards out, and you expected to make it, really, and like everyone's looking at you to make it, and if you miss it, it's not that good.
And while in the moment, all eyes are on you. Leading up to the game, no one is alone when it comes to preparing for this defining moment.
Leading up to the game, our coaches came out with a game plan to where that we would try to attack them up the middle. And throughout the game, that started to work, and we received 2 PKs. And I was able to take the first one very confidently, and the second one, leading up to it, I was kind of scared because last year I had 2 PKs against UConn, and I made the first one, but they called it back because the player ran into the box, so I had to retake it. And I took the second one and ended up missing it. So that was in the back of my mind, running up to the second one, so I was trying to see if Tom would let someone else take it. But they had the confidence in me, so I stepped up and I shot it and scored both PKs.
But for the Golden Hurricane, regulation, overtime, or PKs, it's all about whatever it takes to get the win. Because in the end, Tulsa has one common goal, to get a 4th straight American title.
But we're chasing that regular season trophy. That's all that matters right now, is one game at a time. And certainly our goal is to win the conference championship, the regular season championship. And that's where we're at today. That's the mindset. And we get our first opportunity to take a step towards, achieving that goal.
For Campus Connect from Tulsa, I'm Abby Krause.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story, so far.
On September 12th, UConn goalkeeper Scott Levine made his 57th consecutive start, passing Andre Blake for the 2nd most consecutive starts by a goalkeeper in UConn's history. We spoke to the man the fans call the goalie god about what it's been like to call this area behind me home for so many consecutive games. The fans here love Levine, and it's easy to see why after what he just accomplished.
It's incredibly special to me. I've told a lot of people here that I've wanted to play at UConn since I was 5 or 6 years old, and to be able to not only play here but accomplish something like that is incredibly, it's big for me, for my family.
And his accomplishment was actually helped along by the man he surpassed. Levine and Blake's careers crossed paths for 1 year in 2013 when Levine redshirted during Blake's final season as a Husky. Levine said he learned a lot from Blake in that short time.
But Andre was great. He was a good guy to talk to, and to see his confidence on the field definitely helped me when I was able to take over. One of the biggest things I learned when I came to college and from meeting Andre, was you have to be a player on and off the field.
And the UConn supporters here in the Goal Patrol have seen Levine live up to that throughout his career, noting his success and similarities to Andre Blake.
Scotty is great on the field, but he's an even better person off the field. That's what UConn's all about.
I see a tenaciousness. I see this desire to win, and both of them have it. Both of them have it, and they have this incredible inherent talent.
But Blake is not the only person Levine has taken lessons from during his time at UConn. He said part of what's made him so successful is that he has taken advice from all different directions.
I think it's important to take advice and learn from everyone you come in contact with. So I think in my time here at UConn, I've tried to do that.
With everything he's learned, Levine has become one of the most important leaders for the Huskies, and his teammates will tell you the same, praising Levine's character and talent both on and off the field.
He's a great leader, great example on the field. He's improved a ton over the summer. He's big time. You've seen in the games, but he's become one of our best players. So have off the field and on, he's just a great example for everyone.
He's a leader. He's a captain, and in my terms, I think overall he's an outstanding goalkeeper.
Those traits could be what lead UConn to success this year. Levine sees a lot of potential in his team, and even though this is his final season in a Husky uniform and he wants to go out on top, he's still making sure to take things day by day.
Our team's goals are sky high, but that's good. You need to have big ambitions, but at the same time, we need to keep ourselves grounded.
For Campus Connect, from UConn, I'm Brandon Carney.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is home.
This is UConn.
At Maroney Stadium in Storrs, Connecticut. Lincoln Rose, Roland Garensway with you here at halftime. Let's check in with Bill Spalding once again down on the pitch.
All right, thank you very much, Lincoln. And UConn's one of the most historic programs in this Northeast region. And if you need a quick refresher on UConn's history, all you have to do is look at the signage here in this end zone at the end of the pitch. It starts in 1948. That's when UConn won its first of 3 national championships, an 11-0 season, an NSCAA national championship. 4 different national players of the year. The first came in 1980 with Joe Maroney, and then you see their first NCAA championship, which came in 1981. You continue down through another national player of the year in 1988. And then Ray Reid's squad back in 2000, the last UConn National Championship. That team was led by the year 2000 National Player of the Year, Chris Bondi, who's now currently a college soccer coach coaching at UConn. Most recently, O'Brien White, the 2007 National Player of the Year, the Herman Trophy winner. So UConn history dating back all the way to 1948. Looking to write a little more history this season, looking to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 3 years. Lincoln?
Yeah, Bill, certainly a storied program over the years. Again, the Maroney name has been synonymous with UConn soccer for so much of its history, losing their legendary player and coach a couple of years ago. But you see all the memories rehashed here, and I know when they eventually build that new stadium, they'll love to port all of that in with a brand new game day experience along the way. You talk about the way that first half unfolded. Tulsa with 3 shots got 1 corner kick in to UConn's 2 corners. UConn managed a couple of shots, but De Silva for Tulsa never had to come up with a stop, as opposed to Vereen across the way had to make sure that zeros remained on the board.
Absolutely. I think some of our sentiments were echoed by Coach Reid. You know, they needed to keep the ball a little bit better, be a little bit more patient in possession, maybe work the ball down the flanks, maybe down that left-hand side with Greenberg coming back from left back, and maybe get the ball to the feet of John a little bit more often. He was starved of support, I think, in the first half. Hopefully they'll be able to improve on that in the second.
Players emerging from the locker room, and as promised, the goal patrol starting to fill out those bleachers behind the goal to our right, as they will be in the ear of De Silva and Tulsa's back line for the rest of the evening, trying to help guide UConn to a 2-0 start if they can find a goal here after the second half. So again, soon enough, Bill will be joined by Tom McIntosh of Tulsa. But until then, you look at that first half, UConn controlling the early minutes, but Tulsa here started to warm up, got comfortable. I say warm up as a team, felt a little more comfortable, but you see the long sleeves for the men from Oklahoma.
Well, I think, you know, they had a lot more possession than UConn did, especially in the latter part of that first half. They put a ton of pressure on UConn, but UConn never really looked bothered. You know, they had Kyle Doubt had that one chance on goal. But, you know, other than that, you know, UConn really never looked bothered from this Tulsa attack. So they need to improve on that in the second half.
A reminder where we are: UConn, Memphis, USF, Tulsa, all winners this last weekend, capturing all 3 points. Today, a chance for some separation if either UConn or Tulsa can find a goal and capture all three this evening. Tulsa would be happy with just a point on the road, as most clubs would tell you. For UConn, the burden is to take all three here at home.
Well, UConn have a lot of pride in their side. You know, they never want to lose at home. They want to make home a fortress, especially with them wanting to go for a conference win. You know, you need to get all 3 points in every one of your home games.
Underway with the start of the second half. Again, the Huskies wearing the kits in white, while Tulsa in black. And again, you see the students who have filled out the bleachers right behind the frame of De Silva, the UConn Goal Patrol. Great job by the students on the two campuses in those halftime features. Some of the themes and storylines coming into this year.
And already UConn trying to keep possession and be dangerous in attack. They had a good ball in that was defensively cleared by Tulsa.
Tulsa just managed 3 shots in that first half, but that was still one more than UConn. 2 of them were on frame. Vereen came up with a save on both occasions. Could easily be 1-0 Tulsa. Golden Hurricanes still looking for that goal right here. Baranje will send it out wide. It sneaks into the 18. Simply a goal kick coming up.
Baranje has really stuck out to me, especially in the last game against SMU. He's got a ton of skill about him. He's not afraid to run at the attack. I don't see the ball at his feet as often as I'd like. So we'll see if Tulsa can make that change in the second half.
Again tonight, the 61st consecutive start for Vereen in frame. That's number 2 all time in this program's history. They've had some good ones on that back line. Both teams so far have just been able to avoid those critical miscues back in their own 18.
Tough defensive work there for UConn. Tons of pressure being provided by Tulsa so far as well. Again, both these teams really going for the 3 points. Neither really sitting back into a defensive shell trying to get a draw. That's what you like to see when you watch college soccer. You like to see the intensity be very high. You want to see both teams have that desire to get that win.
And a nice Friday evening crowd. Many bringing blankets and their long sleeves. The men in white, though, for UConn, they're accustomed to this weather. They'd be out there in flip-flops if they could be.
That does play into their hands slightly.
This is after we saw Tulsa and SMU with a water break in each half for player safety back on Sunday. And there they are, full throat. The Goal Patrol. They are right behind De Silva's frame.
I'm going to be giving De Silva tons of lip service in the second half. We'll see if it makes any kind of difference.
De Silva and all the other goalkeepers in the American probably would lobby against general admission over there, as those fans started off the night on the opposite end. Out on the wing, opportunity here. 1v1 on the edge of the box. Little dance. Left-footed cross and the chip well high off the mark.
And again, it's Ranje being dangerous down this left-hand side. Again, showing some technical skill, running at his defender. We're going to see it here. Good first touch. Nice little step over. We're going to hear down the left-hand side. It's a dangerous cross. Eventually, the Tulsa player is going to get on the end of it and just skies it. Leans back way too much. And that's Kyle Dowd again.
Yeah, I don't think you could have asked much more from Menashe Raranje, the junior out of Jenks, Oklahoma. So creative with those boots, was able to put one right on Dowd, who has missed wide and missed high on a couple of the better looks tonight for Tulsa.
Well, he's arguably had the best looks of this entire match. He has a one-on-one with Levine, who came up with a big save. And just then again with Dowd getting on the end of that cross from Aranje.
See De Silva talking with Vargas. Make sure they are on the same page.
I think so far they have been. Also been pretty resolute in defense as well. De Silva very solid as well. Only had that one little misstep. Fortunately for Tulsa, UConn were not able to take advantage of that.
Get the restart. Wrapping up with the 50th minute of play between Tulsa and UConn. Tulsa has won each of the last 3 conference tournament titles, making their 11th trip to the NCAA tournament last year. Huskies trying to give the crowd a lead to cheer for. Trying to turn. Jom trapped among 3 Golden Hurricane defenders. You heard Bill Spalding earlier report about how they were going to try to keep Jom at bay. He had some opportunities early in this match. Since then has been held quiet.
This center back pairing from Tulsa did a great job at closing down the space around John. He took a nice little touch, but instead of turning away from danger, he turned directly into Gustavo Vargas and his center back pair. We're going to see it here. Instead of turning away, he turns right into the defense of Tulsa, who do a good job of closing down space and being physical with John.
So a corner kick, though. UConn still with a chance. And a whistle, as this will go back over to De Silva.
It's a pretty decent delivery there from UConn.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a handball.
UConn got the handball right there at the top of the 6. That looked like the initial play. It was just a late whistle.
It was a handball that took the ball away from De Silva, who looked like he was going to punch.
So a scoreless match thus far here in Stores. Again, these two teams met twice last year. It was 1-0 during the regular season in favor of UConn, but Tulsa got the last laugh in the conference tournament, 2-0. The all-time series has been tight. There's 3 wins for UConn, 2 wins for Tulsa, and a couple of draws.
Again, we're seeing it here today. Both teams so evenly matched, sort of canceling each other out at either end. It's another attacking opportunity for UConn. You see how much pace they have up front.
Ball towards the back post, it's in. Oh, 2 men to play with, neither one needed, as the goal patrol has an up-close and personal view as UConn takes the lead.
That was an unbelievable finish by Petridis. Tons of pace on that left-hand side. That was a brilliant sub from UConn. We're going to see it again here in just a second. As you watch the players celebrate, you see how much it means to them.
Second goal this year for Nico Petridis, the sophomore.
We're going to see it here. Just tons of space. Instead of finding, that's a brilliant finish to fool the goalkeeper near post. Looking far post, acting like he's going to put the cross in. Instead, puts the ball near post, fools De Silva, hits the back of the net. That's a wonderful finish.
And they will continue to celebrate for a while. 37 minutes still to go. Petridis had 2 teammates running with him, but was able to finish with his own punctuation.
Well, every now and then it's okay to be selfish. And we saw it there. Petridis has confidence in himself, knows that he can put the ball in the back of the net, and he does so on that attempt.
So UConn's offense had been held quiet for a while. They earned a corner kick. Nothing doing. But then subsequently through the run of play, Petridis with the goal. And that means Vereen has a lead to defend, along with this back line for UConn.
Tulsa really keying in and trying to get the ball to Baranje's feet. Again, we've seen the technical ability this kid possesses.
Again, this is Karai Easterling, 7th appearance on the year for the sophomore. 10 minutes into the start of the second half. Tulsa finding themselves trailing. Something they never experienced back on Sunday. They'll require their first equalizer of conference play if they have a chance to leave Connecticut with a point or more.
UConn just coming out of the gates flying, really trying to push the pace so far early on in this second half. As we see Petridis down this left-hand side again, knows he can beat that right back from Tulsa.
Oh, a little deja vu building up here. Same numbers, but different results.
Petridis looking for that back post run. Bit of a miss kick maybe. Ball goes back for a goal kick. But we see him here running at Gustavo Vargas, beating him for pace actually. Just can't quite wrap his foot around the ball and get the ball into, that penalty area.
Again, he had Jom and one other towards the top of the 18. And De Silva had to have that last scoring strike replaying in his head.
We love to see the energy that Petridis has come off the bench with. Really let a spark into this UConn offense.
Ball slipped through, but the Huskies were not going to allow doubt. A clean run to that ball. Jom, along with that back line of Tulsa. All smiles.
It's great support there from UConn.
That Huskies back line again takes pride now with a goal to defend.
A nice slide tackle there. That's a good ball in, just didn't quite read it.
Oh, big collision.
It looks like the German left back will get to it. Big physical play.
As we step aside from soccer for a moment.
We get into a little bit of rugby.
Yeah, Easterling getting tangled up with Ngog.
Just being physical.
That's Germany and France colliding. Easterling delivers the shoulder. Ngog takes his ankle.
That's absolutely a foul on Ngog there, trying to hold Easterling back. Referee might want to have a word with both these players.
Wants a one-on-one with both Ngog and Easterling.
No, he won't tolerate any more physical play that way anymore.
The model UN there is Senegal joined in at the last second.
Again, it's Petridis on this left-hand side, causing this Tulsa defense all kinds of trouble.
Those have been rejuvenated legs for him tonight. Here's a ball chipped towards De Silva. They'll be able to punch it out wide.
Good last-ditch defending there by Easterling.
Huskies looking for insurance on this Friday night in front of the home crowd. And 50-50 Golden Hurricane will send it away.
God with some decent movement off the ball. Trying to make some diagonal runs, become available for his teammates from midfield.
Back line of Tulsa fielding the pressure these past couple of minutes. This will slip away in touch, and it'll be back over to Tulsa. Continue with the Golden Hurricane with a foul. All of this unfolding right in front of Ray Reed. His Huskies have a 1-goal advantage. A little over a half hour to play.
He'll be pleased with his Huskies so far in the second half, applying tons of pressure to this Tulsa back line. Scoring early on in this second half makes their job a little bit easier for the rest of the game.
This next week, they will be welcoming the number 3 team in the nation, the Maryland Terrapins, to town. Talking about UConn. Hard to look past the matchup, though, tonight with a conference victory on the line. As Tulsa will bring Harris Partain on, sophomore out of Frisco, Texas. Frisco is just north of Dallas. It's actually where FC Dallas plays their soccer. Partain, a Division I transfer from Central Arkansas.
That DFW Metroplex, such a hotbed for soccer players. So many talented players coming out of that area.
Tulsa not shy when it comes to recruiting south of the Red River, down in Texas, in that Dallas area. Some in Houston as well. Nico Petridis with a brilliant scoring strike after a long run is the difference so far in this one.
Tulsa on the attack again. I mean, UConn, excuse me.
Apostle trying to send one to the top of the 18. Tulsa not allowing it. And a tough contest here on the near side.
Looked like Larange was taken out down this left-hand side. He's on the sidelines on the ground.
It has become a physical matchup. Good to see Munir Saleh back on his feet. Well, Tulsa, since falling behind, has struggled to get this ball on the opposite end in midfield. That continues. Flag is up, offside.
Again, another long ball. They found success so far in the second half by playing defeat. I'd like to see that a little bit more often here in the second half.
And the Huskies find insurance to help them breathe a little bit easier. Garris will toss it in.
Well, they won't be comfortable until they do provide some sort of cushion. As you saw in the last game, Tulsa can find a goal from anywhere, especially dangerous on set pieces. They're definitely not to be taken lightly.
Well, for the match, Tulsa with 4 shots, UConn with 4 as well. The difference is a couple of shots on frame for Tulsa were both answered by Vereen and frame for UConn. The only shot on goal for UConn was unimpeded to the back of the net.
It only takes one opportunity for you to go up by 1 goal. Luckily for UConn, taking advantage of their one opportunity.
Huskies an edge on corners, 3-1 as well. Delay, one of the Canadians on the roster. Ooh. Yeah, and Easterling was already on notice, and here comes the booking.
Eastling just showing his frustration for this physical play from UConn. We're going to see it here.
And just the shove at the end, the continuation is what will get him the yellow.
Again, just visible frustration there from Easterling. It's been a physical game so far, nothing wrong with that. But once you get into pushing and shoving straight up in the chest like that, referee won't tolerate it.
He did not pick up a yellow again when he was tangled up earlier tonight. But after he'd been put on notice, predictably the yellow came out. Easterling this time with his boot up towards midfield, but again back over to the Huskies. De Silva well off his line, makes the catch and avoids risking any opportunity for the Huskies to make it 2-0.
Now Tulsa can transition into attack, and that's a beautiful ball over the top.
And on the opposite end, Vereen never hesitating off of his line.
It's that man Petridis again down this left-hand side. It's been so dangerous for UConn.
Ball back at his feet, and simply a throw coming up for UConn. In touch. For UConn, Ingog will come off. And his place, Austin De Silva, the freshman from Brookfield, Connecticut. And Ingog was one of the many dance partners so far for Karai Easterling and Tulsa in this physical matchup. Golden Hurricane, can they possess here and build something positive? Still with Tulsa. Chip towards that back post. Vereen on his 6. Able to squeeze it in. So Tulsa at least got a shot off that time.
Both teams sort of, again, just sort of settling for long balls. UConn are doing a good job at the beginning of this second half of playing to feet and sort of being a little bit more patient in possession. We've seen them resort back to Route 1 soccer.
Nobody was around to help Ranjay despite his effort there a moment ago. Well, we were scoreless at halftime. Not the case here. Petridis' goal, second on the year, as UConn up 1-0. If 1-0 is the final score, I think everybody can live with Abdu Baki Jam seeing his streak coming to an end after 4 games of scoring.
I think he'd rather take the 3 points, maybe. He had to choose.
It may not be an and/or situation.
That's true. He does possess a ton of talent. You give him one opportunity, he'll take it.
See what Tulsa can produce here. David Viox for the Golden Hurricane. Sophomore out of St. Louis, from St. Louis University High School. Viox. Deep into the 18, but nothing more, simply a goal kick for Vereen. Let's check back in with Bill Spalding. Those fans aren't disappointing, are they?
No, not at all. You've been talking about the goal patrol all day, and I got to tell you, they aren't just loud; they're knowledgeable. It's Nico Petridis' birthday today, so when he first came into the game, they were serenading him, singing "Happy Birthday." They waited until he kind of gave them a little bit of a nod of approval. Then he follows through and he scores the go-ahead goal. They love him here. He's the guy who I've heard maybe them cheer the most of anybody so far. They love Petridis. He's come through on his birthday and really brought the goal patrol to a whole new level of volume here, guys.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. UConn earlier today tweeting out happy birthday to Nico, and obviously a lot of the fans catching on, and we're very well informed that the birthday boy perhaps getting his wish.
He's a very high energy player and providing the fans a little bit more energy with that goal. I'd like to see him find his feet a little bit more often. He was giving fits to the right side of this Tulsa defense. As he gets on the ball again right now.
Again, 1v1. Petridis with his right boot denied by Da Silva. Corner kick coming up for UConn. Or are they saying this ball's still in play?
Looks like they called him offside. He
Okay.
might have been a step and a half offside. He does get on the end of this one, and Da Silva does a good job at saving it, but it all meant nothing in the end.
That flag, in fact, had come up here on the near side. Petridis has had some entertaining runs across the way. That means it's still simply a 1-goal deficit for Tulsa to try to come back from.
Well, UConn have been impressive offensively, but I've really been impressed by their midfield dropping back and really plugging those holes defensively. Really giving no options for this Tulsa midfield to create any kind of offensive opportunity.
Foul for Joe Ruiz, despite a solid stiff arm. Vereen, well off his line, will handle the kick with all the numbers in front of him.
Tulsa, you know, they're very skilled in their midfield, especially with Rolly Rocha, but not finding any solutions on how to break down this UConn defense.
Tulsa doing a great job pressuring UConn to retreat.
That's a beautiful ball.
Flag stays down this time. Top of the 18, good numbers. Jump. Ball on his right boot, denied, point blank.
Good defensive play there. Tulsa aren't out of the woods yet, though.
More white kits in the area. Everyone has come on, looking to make it 2-0. From 19, this one will carry one.
It was a beautiful opportunity to make it 2-0 for UConn. It's a beautiful ball there from the center back position. And the freshman gets on the end of it. Does well to sort of hold up play there. Tiam, instead of laying the ball up to his teammate on the right-hand side, elects to take a shot. Tulsa getting in front of the shot. And it's at the end of the day, we're going to see UConn, unfortunately, not take advantage of that opportunity.
Da Silva helped lead that charge. John, one of a couple of Huskies who got a shot. Petridis' goal still holding up as the difference maker. Striking distance for Tulsa. And a left-footed delivery will go wide to the far post.
That wasn't great defense from Saleh here. Really just needs to clear it out of the box. And Tulsa get a chance to potentially be dangerous in front of goal. Just no one on that back stick there. And that's a good cross in.
I believe that was Adam Habib, the freshman from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, who got the final touch. Again, simply a goal kick for Vereen. Inside of 19 to play. UConn with the lone goal here in the second half from Nico Petridis. as Vereen scoops it up 12 yards away from his frame. Well, Petridis is now here on the near side. They flipped. Talking about the Huskies. An active Josh Burnett.
Well, Petridis has so much pace, it doesn't matter what side of the field he's on. He'll be giving a big headache to this Tulsa defense.
UConn almost connected with Jom up top. Burnett's 9th appearance this year. Every match so far this season. John, one of the co-captains, leading scorer for the past 2 years, will get a breather.
He's had a bit of an off game today. He hasn't had many opportunities in front of goal. He has had the ball at the top of the box a few times, fortunately making a couple of bad decisions. Fortunately for him, he has his teammates around him to pick him up, including Petridis, who eventually got that goal.
Dom had 10 goals last year, 6 of them game winners. We noted this year already 4 of his 6 goals have been game winners. Just has a knack for great timing. But even he's probably willing to concede to somebody on their own birthday, coming up with a game winner if this one holds up.
Well, again, at the end of the day, these players just want the 3 points. Of course, it'd be nice to score, but I think a conference championship will feel better than a goal here or there.
Again, Tulsa ended UConn's season last year in the conference tournament. A 2-0 victory for the Golden Hurricane in pursuit of its 3rd straight conference tournament title. Ball chipped back post, nobody to play with.
Oranje there, such a shifty little winger. Does a great job to create some space for himself and get a cross in, unfortunately, over everybody's head.
Check back in with Bill.
Guys, I'm going to tell you about one of the most selective schools in the world, and it's a school that spawned 2 Huskies, Abdou Bakujam and Cheikh Koli, both from Senegal, both played at Jambar's Academy in Salé, Senegal. It's a residential program. You move in when you're 12, you stay as long as you want until you're 20 years old. You go to school in the morning, you play soccer in the afternoon. I'll let you finish this chance here before I come back and finish the story.
Yeah, Huskies have good numbers defensively, and this chip's going to carry well wide. Go ahead, Bill.
And Lincoln, so what I was saying about this school is it's a school where you play soccer all evening after you go to school in the morning. And it's one of the best graduation rates in all of Senegal. It's also produced a number of pro and college players. But here's the hook, and it's amazing if you can just get in like both Koli and Bakujam did. They have 16 open spots each year. They get about 4,000 applicants. That's a 0.4% acceptance rate. Not even Harvard has that.
Incredible. Again, the stories for many of these student athletes, especially in an international game like this. But once they get a chance to come to the States, certainly don't take the opportunity to get the education and this experience as student athletes for granted. Right now, UConn not taking for granted being the home team, although Tulsa is still looking for that equalizer. Right now, Jom on the bench. Petridis pressuring the back line that time on the ball. And a foul in the center circle. Again, that is Raleigh Rocha, the man we featured at the top of our broadcast, who's holding the back of his head. Talk about smart young men. The mechanical engineering major took a forearm to the back of the head.
That's a tough challenge there from Ngog. No malintent, didn't look like. Had the eyes on the ball the entire time. Fortunately for Rocha, gets an elbow to the back of the head.
Tulsa's window for a comeback inside of 14 minutes. And numbers favoring Tulsa that time. Easterling playing back along with Gustavo Vargas. He had a scoring streak of his own. Last 2 matches, he's found a goal. The only goals in those 2 matches for Tulsa. Each time it gave Tulsa a 1-0 lead. Now they would surrender that lead against Creighton, the team that beat them also in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year. SMU did not have a chance to answer. The lone goal in overtime, the 94th minute, put a cap on that one Sunday.
Of course, with that golden goal rule in overtime, it's very advantageous there for Vargas to get on the end of that cross, stick it in the back of the net.
I think Ray Reed right there was talking to Coley, saying they were just talking about you on the broadcast.
Maybe.
As Cal came on for Coley. Tulsa hoping to just take advantage of any miscues from UConn, but no opportunity to take a shot there.
Again, this UConn defense have been very stingy so far this game. Again, just Tulsa not finding any solutions to this puzzle of breaking down this UConn defense. They've looked very confident on the ball, having no problems even stepping into midfield and providing some offensive support.
Harris will handle the throw. Again, the 5th-year senior for the Huskies. Tulsa will reset at midfield along the back line. The burden on the Golden Hurricane. Down a goal. Nico Petridis here in the second half, be able to create a bit of separation between the 2 sides on the scoreboard.
Good bit of possession right now for Tulsa. Again, there is only 11 minutes left, but they do have to be a little bit patient when they have possession.
Rocha sent it in. It'll be I believe, a corner kick here coming up. Well, this is how Tulsa found its only goal on Sunday for the winner.
They're absolutely dangerous on set pieces. They've got a lot of size about them and not afraid to attack the ball in the air.
Bionks.
Good defensive play there from UConn. Attacking the ball at its highest point. Doing a good job to clear their lines.
Right back into the 18. Vereen on his line. Tulsa still threatening. And UConn survives again. And they may do more than just survive. Petridis, open running room. Man to play with. And another kick save from De Silva. Still just a 1-goal deficit for the men in black.
That was Josh Burnett who got on the end of that final ball. He had time to maybe take a touch and pick his spot. Unfortunately, he takes the left-footed shot first time. And De Silva comes up big again.
Tulsa is still in this match because of the man in the red kit.
We're going to see here tons of pace from Petridis. Does a great job to find Burnett in the center of the box. Again, had maybe a little bit of time to take at least one touch, sort of settle himself. Instead, takes it on the first touch. And again, De Silva just making himself big inside that goal mouth.
Oh, UConn gets a corner here. Inside of 10 minutes. Huskies still looking for that insurance goal. Petridis to handle the kick. Already found his 2nd goal of the year, looking for his 3rd assist here. Mentioned he had that game-winning assist on Tuesday against Providence when he found Jump. As Tulsa's back line gets to it first, but will not get the second touch. Burgess over to Petrides again, flipped over here to the near side. About 10 minutes ago. Sends one through, a dangerous ball, but Golden Hurricanes able to pop it back out.
I think UConn are going to benefit long term from having another Husky find some scoring for him. It can't just be a one-man scoring show. The rest of their teammates are going to have to chip in with goals and assists. They're going to look to win this conference.
Well, yellow comes out on this foul.
And that, not really a foul to me. He got ball. Fortunately, just getting that yellow card from Ngog. Maybe his reputation in preceding himself for having physical play early on in this game.
Yeah, he and Easterling again tangled earlier tonight, and each has since picked up a yellow. Another look.
Did catch the man at the end there, but got the ball first.
So thanks to De Silva's heroics a couple minutes ago, Tulsa still with a chance to pull even and take a point back home.
Ooh, big challenge there.
They were going to let them play the advantage. Petrides, not the party favor he wanted. And no foul was called. The reason why there's palms to the sky for Ray Reed.
That's definitely got to be a foul. Rolly Rocha coming in with a hard challenge there from Petrides on Petrides. Petrides showing some good heart, not staying on the ground, rolling around, trying to milk it. Just gets up and looking to play on.
Huskies still on the offensive, inside of 8 minutes in regulation. And again, now that clock, the friend of UConn. They don't mind possessing. I say that. Surrender it right over to the back line.
Seems to happen every time, huh, Lincoln?
It's easier than ever to access the American Digital Network, apparently. Again, glad to have you with us here on ADN on this Friday evening. We had women's soccer last night, men's soccer tonight in Storrs, Connecticut. UConn at home against Tulsa, delighting the home crowd with the lone goal thus far. Nico Petrides with the difference maker, unassisted. Tulsa has kept it just a one-goal match.
UConn doing a good job of keeping a high line. Having no problem stepping in and intercepting passes from that Tulsa midfield, looking to connect with their strike force up top.
Those fans shifting from one end of the field to the other, depending on where the opposing goalkeeper is each half.
Can't blame De Silva for staying off his line as much as possible with that kind of crowd behind you.
Again, right now the clock is the friend of the Huskies. Every time that they can keep Tulsa on the Golden Hurricanes half, it's helping out their own cause. Tulsa just needs one single successful strike to reset this one. Throw in coming for Tulsa. UConn's going to stop the clock here with a sub.
Well, it is part of what's beautiful about this game. You can be on top the entire game or be on bottom the entire game and still come out with 3 points. All you need is to capitalize on one opportunity.
So Jom is back on for the final 5 minutes and 40 seconds of regulation in place of Soleil.
Tulsa looking for a penalty there. Not sure that was convincing enough.
They'll simply play on. Jom on the ball, did not take long. Pokes it loose. Can he keep it in play?
Great hustle from Jom there.
Lays it off, top of the 18. Insurance still has to wait as that one goes wide.
That was great hustle from Jom there. Coming off the bench, refreshed. Looking to run and get on the ball at every opportunity.
He had an extended stay on that bench.
He's got 4 minutes to continue that scoring streak.
Well, again, Tulsa, so easy to forget. If that ball can cross the goal line, we're even. UConn again has the answer.
Tulsa being a little bit too predictable there. They're playing up the ball straight up through that midfield, playing a little bit too narrow. The only time they found width is with Waranje, and they found a little bit of success with him. Again, he's really skilled, loves to run at defenders. I think they need to spray the ball out wide a little bit more often.
Tulsa moving with a great deal of urgency. Trying to create as many chances as they can here in the final 4 minutes. Yeah, they'll call the foul, and simply Vereen will have a kick coming up. You see Tulsa kindly wants this expedited. Retrieves the ball for Vereen.
Again, Tulsa do have talent going forward, but when you're playing so narrowly, again, it becomes predictable for the opposing defense. They're able to deal with it fairly easily.
Right behind De Silva's goal. De Silva, again, that goal vulnerable in his absence.
That was a big chance for UConn there. De Silva in all sorts of trouble. And John providing all kinds of pressure for UConn and almost gets on the end of a shot there. But De Silva, fortunately for him, plays out.
This will go back the other way. Again, UConn has not allowed a goal since September 15th. Looking for its third straight shutout, including 2 for 2 in conference play.
Well, this team takes pride in defending, always looking to keep a clean sheet.
Chipped in. And the Huskies simply get to it before the Golden Hurricane can, and the subsequent shot from distance off the mark. How many opportunities will remain for Tulsa? Huskies simply refusing to give them a clean look. Again, the Huskies just able to take more time off that clock as we approach the final 90 seconds. Scoreless at halftime. Lone goal has come here in the second half, courtesy of Petridis.
Tulsa can break here.
Right through the middle. Within 25. Well played ball. And Vereen will come out in time.
Great goalkeeping. UConn not out of the woods yet, though.
Tulsa on it inside a minute. Edge the 18. Able to turn. Looking for someone to play with.
It's a great play from Aranje there.
Rocha. That far post, and Vereen will smother it. Pardon me, Levine. As Scott Levine, the fifth-year senior, being kept busy here in the final minute.
That was good goalkeeping from him. But again, you can see how dangerous Tulsa can be, especially in transition. Waranje did a great job keeping possession. Eventually, Rocha got the cross in. We see Waranje cross here.
One more sent in to the top of the 18. If Huskies can clear this, that should do it. Silva off his line. But Tulsa will get one more look perhaps here. Unable to advance it. The Huskies will shut down the Golden Hurricane at home in Stores. Preseason favorites in the American this year. UConn now 2-0 in American play.
It was a very workmanlike performance today from UConn. They got their goal and did a good job at defending at every turn. Tulsa were dangerous at times, especially in these last couple seconds. They were very dangerous in transition, but Levine, time after time, came up big, made some saves, gathered the ball in the air quite easily. Tulsa a little bit too predictable, playing too narrowly throughout this entire game. You did see every now and then when they worked the ball out wide to Waranje, they found a little bit of success. He was able to be dangerous, but not dangerous enough to get the goal in the back of the net. UConn defend easily. It was a beautiful goal from Petridis. Just a brilliant individual performance from him as well, and an impressive performance today from UConn.
Bill Spalding's down on the pitch with the victorious head coach, Ray Reid.
Coach, you pick up that goal in the second half, take the win. What did you think about the way your team came out and played in half two?
I thought the second half we were good.
Well, we just lost connection there with the interview again. Petridis with the winning goal, the difference maker tonight. Huskies improved to 5-2-2 on the year. More importantly, 2-0 in conference play. Congratulations to Ray Reid as well as Nico Petridis. Your final thoughts, Roland?
UConn just very impressive defensively. Tons of pace up top. Really paid off, especially with Petridis. An individual performance on his birthday was just brilliant today. And Giam really drew a lot of defenders to him and sort of gave that opportunity to Petridis. So just a great performance today from UConn. Ray Reid can be proud.
Tulsa will look to bounce back with a couple of matchups in league play against USF and then against Denver out of conference, both those in Oklahoma. Meanwhile, UConn, this tees them up nicely for a matchup with number 3 Maryland this upcoming week. It'll be at home at Maroney Stadium. They'll look to delight the Gold Patrol once again. Not going home disappointed on this Friday night in Stores. They're Huskies. Victors 1-0 here on the American Digital Network.